And hello again, and here we are back in my garage another day, and another big parcel's turned up. And actually this one's very heavy. It's got Delcavit on it, but it's actually from D&K, same company. But in here is a used complete crankshaft from a Kawasaki Z1000 A1 from around 1977. And I've got this because I wanted one conrod. I need one good conrod so Jeff can complete the rebuild of a new crank to go in the Mark II 1400cc conversion that we're doing right now. And couldn't buy one, couldn't even buy four, so I bought the whole crank. It's about £100. And although it seems okay, I've had a quick look at it, you don't really know for sure until you take it all apart and inspect the conrods, inspect the big ends, small ends, bearings and so on. And that's what's going to happen next. I'm going to take this down to Jeff in his workshop. And he won't take it apart right away, but hopefully the next few weeks, next few days rather, he should be able to take it apart, inspect it and find at least one decent conrod that he can use on the new crankshaft I'm having built, as I say, for the Mark II. And so, that's what's next. Right, Jeff, here we are. I've just given you that parcel with the Z1000 crank in it that I've not opened yet. So I'll leave you to have the joy.
Well, I have actually just.
And the pleasure. That, oh no, I'll open it up. It's all wrapped up nice and tight. So let's see what's in there. More rubbish to get rid of.
An abundance of cardboard and.
Yeah, well, your bin's just been emptied, so you'll be okay. Yeah, I was actually quite surprised how heavy it is. I didn't expect it to be so heavy.
Oh, I did quite a. Well, the probably one of the heaviest motorcycle cranks.
This side of a Harley.
Next
Harley's
this side of a Harley, yeah.
Yeah, Harley's a pretty damn heavy.
Because of the full, as we will show it now.
Yeah.
How much was this?
Well, they had quite a few different ones going from sort of £90 to 150 or plus, you know. Don't drop it. There you go. Don't drop it.
You
want me to grab the box?
Grab
There we go.
Stuck.
Yes, there we go. Right, let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I was saying, I mean, they have different ones. They look all the same, but some are like 80 quid, some are 90 quid, some are £150.
You probably have a quick look at them.
Yeah, you don't quite know which one's which. So that one was about average. It was 110, I think, and 119 including postage. But it's a bit sad really, because I just wanted it for one conrod. So we shall see, we shall see. Okay, let's get a bit closer.
Right there,
the bearings have fallen off. Yeah,
what I'm going to do is grab that, let that fall.
Yeah, hopefully.
Get off.
It's stuck on this end.
It's stuck there.
Hang on, hang on. There's a hole in the.
There it is.
Yeah. There you go.
That's it.
The great reveal. Okay, let's get a bit closer. Right, so yeah, to go back to the beginning then, the reason why I bought that is because I need a crank for the Mark II 1400cc engine that's being built at the moment. So you were going to build me one using the cranks that we provided, but it turns out that only 3 of the 4 conrods were usable. One was damaged in some way. So I'm hopeful we can get at least one decent conrod out of that crank. And no doubt even more so too. Maybe a set of 4 nice conrods, we don't know. It seems a bit of a waste as a whole crank to take it apart to make another crank and use one conrod, but you can't buy one conrod on its own. You can't even buy a set of conrods anymore. Well, you got a gudgeon pin there to test the small ends.
You can see in there, they look quite. That's a new
gudgeon pin.
There's a fraction. I ran the 17mm reamer through them bushes,
yes, yeah.
And it's about the same. I mean, don't forget, Dave, how many miles have they done?
Unknown, unknown.
Yeah.
No idea.
In fact, I'm amazed that they last as long as they do with the very poor oil supply they get. Score marks.
Good.
Yes. What do you want to choose to do? Run the 16 centre?
Well, I thought we were going to use that just to get the conrods, because you've already got the parts you need and checked out.
To get the conrods, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
fine.
If you want to use the rest of it for something else, you can do so.
Weights,
door
stops.
Yeah, whatever.
Just chuck
melt
it
it down.
box.
Melt it down.
Well,
we won't know how good it is until you take it apart. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know the state of the big
usually
ends.
what goes as well is the GPZ suffered, the bearings where the gear go. They used to suffer there.
No,
it's not
ideal.
It's
a bit worn. Doesn't matter because we won't be using it. All I need out of that is one good conrod. Everything else is surplus.
That bearing there with your gear, that acts as your shim. It has 2 shim washers to stop the drift, the side load. And there's actually quite a fair bit of side load, so the
shims have worn.
It's telling you there's some wear in it.
Okay, well.
Or is it that? Oh, hang on. Well, it might be.
That one feels a bit better.
It could be. I think there's the 2. Yeah, there might be 2 on that.
Well, in a way,
it might be that one then that they use it. I know there's one of them that they have 2 shim washers and it has to be dead spot on.
Yeah.
It's to stop the
side load. Yeah.
The side, you know, to stop the crank from. Well,
I don't need a crank. I just need one conrod out of that, so we can stick it on the other Mark II crank that you've got down there in bits that you've checked over already. So yeah, so you can now happily take that apart, inspect it, and use the other bits that we don't need on something else, if you want to.
I mean, the big ant, they seem, you know.
But as you told me last time, you can't tell
that one there felt lovely and smooth with oil on it, and then you take it off and there's a bloody big pit in it.
Yeah, so we have to check those. I need one good one out of that. Hopefully I'll find at least one, and away we go.
It's very awkward selling second-hand stuff like this because it's what sometimes can appear to be good.
Of course, but you can't blame D&K.
You can't blame the people selling it.
No. Anyway, the reason why I brought it now is because not having a crank is slowing the engine build down. Now I know next to me here you've got a crank on your balancing apparatus, and that's been there at least 6 months, I think. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it.
Oh, we do.
Step back a bit because now we can see the crank that's on this balancing apparatus that you've got there. It's been there for quite a while, I think, Jeff. I'm not sure why it's been there for so long.
Well, it's been there because I've just not had a chance to do anything with it.
But it's there to be welded.
And if I true that up, I've got to then weld these.
Yes, and your welding issues. You haven't got argon.
I've no gas. Well, what's in the bottle? I don't want to start welding because if it suddenly runs out, you're in a hell of a mess.
But didn't you say you found a source for argon?
Well, I've found a few sources.
Well, no, it's easy to get to.
Anyway,
so
we'll cross that bridge.
Is that now ready to go? You need to balance it.
No, what I need to do is just true these up until they dial up.
And how to do that? Just tap it with a mallet.
Well, basically, I get my big block of foam there that's sort of behind there somewhere. Yes. Get my big bloody copper hammer, work out which way it's got to go, and
tap.
Whack.
Yes.
Very brutal.
Yes.
In fact, if you saw it being done.
No, actually, I did actually once see. I saw some video, a very old video from a Laverda factory in Italy, and there's one guy there who trued up the cranks. And he did the same thing. He had this bloody big mallet of whacking it really hard, and he said, "Yeah, it's okay now."
Yeah, not like the idiot that did that original crank out the 1400, where he looks like he's hit it with a bloody ball peined hammer.
Yeah, which damaged it. Yeah.
Which, if we set that on there now, our dial gauge.
Yes.
On there, we can actually see that at the minute he's
not bad.
It's not far out. It may be 3,000.
Yeah.
No, 4,000.
Yeah.
So I have to work out which way to knock it.
And what's the limit then?
Eh?
What's the limit for that? 1,000 or
no
0?
If you can get it to 1,000,
that's good.
Or less the better. Okay. Because with more being roller bearings, it's with a ground crank going on shells, you could probably get away with a bit more because
the oil is
But on a roller bearing crank, it has to be extremely accurate.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen to my crank when you've taken apart that one, got the good bits out of it, use them to build up.
Yeah, but these are all been welded up to here.
Right, just run out of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I had to weld them. I think I had it on about 100 amps.
Yeah.
On the TIG, and it takes some effort to start melting it.
Yeah.
It really, the gauge of that.
It's a big thick thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to come back in a week or two and poke you with a stick and try and get you to do mine.
I wanted to link the TIG up to that small bottle and have a go with it.
Have a go. Okay.
And just see if there's enough in that small bottle.
Okay. So that's enough about the Mark II for the time being. We'll now move on and talk about some stuff you've been working on in the last few days.
Let me just
put that away. And I see you've got one of your wonderful billet conrods you've been working on for quite a while now. And last time we were here, you were about to start doing the smoothing off of the sharp edges that were left after all the machining you'd done, and it looks like you've been doing that.
I've set the miller up.
Yes. Yeah.
That one, all the radiusing's done.
Okay.
That one, as we can see there, I've done
part of it.
I've done across there, around the back. I've had to make a special the diameter of the cutter that on the horizontal that did them.
Yes.
we've machined a mandrel to go on the rotary table, so that when it pushes up in the curve and it's clamped, it then gives us to within a thou or two.
So have you got one that you've not done yet, so we can compare? Well, if we look at both of them,
they're all done up to that stage.
So, but the one at the bottom there,
that one now, I've set them up on the rotary table. Once I've squared it up, I can then, the hardest part is coming to here and not going in too far, as that there has just gone. The first one I did, it's difficult. Attempt. The second one there's got a tiny little bump, but
you can,
with a small, tiny file, flat, wet and dry, you can just get that out. If you had a CNC program,
okay. If you put them next to each other, then I can get a close up of both of them, and we can see the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've zoomed in now. You can see this one's still got a few sharp edges, and that one's gone all the way around. And you've
that one now is ready. I'm not. It all wants mirror polishing when it's done.
Yes. But you're getting there. You're getting there.
Even like a couple of these, once it's all polished, it will take off them edges. But before.
Okay, so you were saying you're going to polish them once that's done and cleaned up with a bit of wet and dry. You're going to then polish these to a sort of mirror finish.
They'll be all polished, yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of them. So how many have you got to do altogether?
Well, there's 5 sets.
5 sets of 4, 20. That's a huge amount of work.
Oh, it's.
So looking at that then, what will you use each of those 4 sets for?
Well, I wanted to use a set for the spares bike.
Okay.
But checking the pistons.
Yes. Are they the 1260 pistons you mentioned?
They're a 1260 forge piston.
Yes.
Because of the strength, the size of the rod there.
It won't fit in.
Widthways it'll go in, but when you push it in, it won't.
Oh no.
There's too much material.
It's not enough clearance.
So you'd need pistons, and then the object is if you milled more of that away to get them in, there's no point in having them.
Okay.
So they don't lend themselves
you need to get
to the pistons.
More pistons then.
Well, funnily enough, I think the ones that we had here, they were they're them 1327, but the higher comp. I think even in them, even with.
And we can't see if you point it. Well, it looks like you're there. You're about I don't know, a thou out or something. It's very close anyway.
It's close, but because they've got the dome,
yes,
it's just given it a touch
more room.
Yeah, whereas the 1260 ones are dished in the other way.
Yeah. But couldn't you take off a little bit off the head of that? I mean, you could take off a little bit of metal from the conrod, couldn't you? It's only about half a mil or something.
Oh, I could polish them round. I mean, as long as you put your pin in and it's not touching,
you're happy.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So you could run them with them.
So why don't you?
Well, it's a possibility.
But that's high comp. Weren't you going to run low comp because you've got a supercharger?
Yeah. Well, what you can do with them, you can always lift the barrel up.
Yes, and give it a bit more clearance.
And drop it. So they're an option.
Have you got the rings for them as well? Have you got the rings?
I've got all the rings, yeah. In fact, I've got 3 sets of rings for them.
Okay, well there you go then. Problem solved.
Plus that's the damaged piston, and I've got a brand new piston. Okay.
So you're all ready to rock.
So there's plenty of stuff to use. It's just, but then we have another problem because I have another problem because the liners for the 1260 basically at 78 you're on your maximum.
Yeah.
And if you go out,
13.
If you go to the size of that, which will fit the lines, you then end up with a 1.5 mil thick liner at the bottom.
And what's the recommended thickness? 2.5, 3 or something?
Yeah, they're 83 mil OD at the bottom.
That's big.
So at 78 mil, it leaves you 2.5 mil. You could probably pinch 79, but I think you start.
And now, are they forged pistons or are they just everyday pistons?
They're forged.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a lot of.
Whichever way you go, you got a problem. You got problem that end, problem that end. You know. Well, your real problem is lack of money because you can't just go and buy some pistons that you really want. Because they're like, I mean, when I bought some, they were £595.
Oh, aren't they? Yes. Mega money.
I mean, they were very nice, but it's still expensive.
They Vosner.
Yes, Vosner.
Vosner, is it? Or
perhaps we'll buy you one for your Christmas present, something, I don't know. Yeah, one. We won't buy a full, we'll buy you one. Anyway, anything else going on then at the moment in the old shed, apart from you doing your conrods?
On that.
Yeah.
Like I said, that one's. There's still some fine milling marks in that, but they want mirror polishing all over them.
Yeah, I've been busy doing that myself. It's various things recently.
This is what we wanted to do with the yokes, like these. Yes. Don't get me wrong, all that'd look nice if we could do that, and we can.
we can.
But it's just so time consuming.
I've been doing exactly the same thing with my yolks,
but
because I'm going to paint them black.
It does. I must admit, it makes. It just finishes it off.
Well, yeah. Well, some people like it like that, a very sharp, sort of angular look.
But I must admit,
some people like it smoothed off.
I like some curves.
Yeah, I know.
It's like them billet and
yeah,
if you left them square, they look unfinished.
Yes.
Whereas if you take the
if you've got a spare few days, you can spend every hour of them getting all that polished off and rubbing down. I'm doing it right now with my my Z yolks.
See, I can come round there and go along there, but you see that little dip?
Yeah.
The only thing is I could tack it in there, and the only way you could do that bit
is by hand.
Possibly by hand.
That's what I've been doing.
Just keep
little file, wet and dry.
And polish,
and lots and lots of time.
Looking, and
when I've done it all, I'm going to paint them, but never mind. Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, I'd love to have put set in them, but like you said, I think I might have to take a little bit out of the cases as well, because
it's a bit thick.
There is one little spot, but whether if I Dremel through, Jeff can maybe weld a couple of small.
You can
patch, like if it does break through.
Yeah,
we can
weld on a patch.
Or we could build it. He could build it up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
If it goes through. So
when it comes to welding, I'm sure Jeff to weld.
We've got plenty of crankcases and stuff to.
I'm sure you have. Right. Okay.
Play around.
Anything else apart from conrods? Then we've been looking at. What have you been up to?
Well, like you say, that's about it. Really.
That's about it. Okay. We're a bit early yet for tea, Jeff.
It's spindle.
Spindle. Oh, yes.
Let's go and have a look.
Let's have a look now. Bit of background. Stand back a bit, Jeff, because otherwise you won't be in. You won't be in shot. You'll all be blurry. Well, so it was spindles.
A spindle.
That's a spindle from a Z1000
which is now useless because that's been machined down.
Which we've machined down the end nut on it, so it fits in the 20mm hole in my Z650 1170 frame. Big mouthful of all that, and I thought, great, I can use it now. My problems are solved. Turns out they're not solved because the shaft is too short by, I would say, about 20mm.
If it goes in, how far is that away? How much?
About 20mm.
So basically, where the lug is on the frame, that's about 20mm from there.
No, if you have it all unscrewed, right? If you unscrew it all. So when you slide that in and it butts up against the outside, that is only just going in.
There or there?
No, where the end of the thread is.
There, that's only just going in.
It's about halfway through.
Oh.
It's about halfway through the.
So it's leaving about half the thread still showing.
Yeah, I measured it. I think I need about 20mm because actually how you made it, Jeff, the actual thickness of the pivot points in the frame are quite thick.
Yeah.
They're more than 20mm. They're about, I don't know what they are exactly, but about 40mm or something like that. They're really thick. I mean, you can tell, can't you? Because it won't screw down more than you've done there, because it hits the inside of the nut.
They're quite wide, I thought it gives it some.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, since cutting I suggested we might be able to cut the spindle in half and widen it, but he said, nah, not doing that.
No, that is just living in.
It can be done, but
but only someone like
an idiot like me,
someone on day release would do something like that.
Like me. So you suggest instead.
Well, what we could do is, because some of that will still be left in. What we could do is thread that with, say, something like a 1/2" UNF bolt cap head or countersunk. Machine a stainless end.
Oh, so you're going to take
and
off
actually bolt. If that is actually still. If we machine that off and that goes between the two lugs and say leaves about 10mm either way, as long as that enters both sides, that'd be all right. Putting like a cap on there.
Yeah, I mean overall it's probably about 20mm too short. Overall,
man, them lugs are quite wide.
Well, that's the problem. See, they are. I mean, that threaded end there goes into the lug, but only by a little bit, and you've got such a thick lug that.
Does that fit in all right now up flush? Where we've machined that?
Oh God, yeah.
So basically, if we can't, what we may end up doing is just machining that down to there
and repeating the process,
and then making something like that that has an Allen bolt that's threaded into there.
Yeah, fair
that
enough.
We can fix in solid.
Yeah.
So once that's in,
I think that might be the way you did it last time, didn't you? When you made one.
We did make some.
The one that we've lost that we can't find.
Do you know something? It's probably in there.
I know. I looked at it. I cannot find it anywhere.
I can't find it.
It's so frustrating because it's probably sitting next to the bloody bearings that I bought, brand new bearings in the box, £50 worth. gone missing. I don't know where the hell they are, so I've got to buy some more. Anyway, deep breath. I'm not angry about it. I'm just annoyed about
like
it.
the 1260 pistons when I was looking from the other day. I thought,
where have they gone?
I've got them
somewhere.
But you've got that much stuff and there's that much going on.
I know. And the thing is, you put things down and leave it for a few weeks because you're busy doing something else, and you think, oh, where's that gone?
I've no idea.
I know. And last year didn't help because with COVID we weren't able to visit each other and stuff like that. So God knows where things went. Anyway, so
let's go and have a look for a.
Okay, let's go and have a look.
See if we've got anything that will lend itself better. But
okie doke.